An escape to Argentina, a secret base in Antarctica, a massive cover-up? The truth is far less sensational. It goes without saying that history's worst dictator, or one of the worst dictators of the past couple hundred years, along with Joseph Stalin, Mao Zedong, and Pol Pot, is Adolf Hitler. The atrocities carried out by the German Chancellor need not be rehashed here. But for all of the conquest and mass murder carried out in his name, Hitler came to a rather inglorious end. With Allied troops closing in on Berlin and the fall of Nazi Germany imminent, Hitler hunkered in his bunker underground, popped a cyanide pill, and shot himself in the head. He married his longtime mistress, Eva Braun, the day before.
He feared that he might only be wounded and captured, and then the Russians would degrade him.
Then, in accordance with his wishes, his men burned his body with gasoline. However, because real cremation of a body requires greater temperatures than that generated by a lit accelerant, some of Hitler's remains survived. What happened next was a matter of dispute for decades. But in 2018, the question of what happened to Hitler's body was settled once and for all by a French forensics team. For a while, a conspiracy theory held that Hitler hadn't actually died in his bunker. Instead, the story went that he escaped to Argentina with Nazi officials such as Adolf Eichmann and Joseph Mengele, and lived out the rest of his life without facing justice. Other way-out theories regarding Hitler's death involve a secret Nazi base in Antarctica and a secret Nazi base on the moon, of all places. Such talk flew in the face of the claims of the USSR, who said that Soviet troops had found and collected skull fragments, jaw fragments, and teeth belonging to Hitler mere days after his suicide and immolation. But interestingly enough, claims that Hitler was alive were spread by none other than the Soviet Union itself under the nickname Operation Myth. Stalin wanted the world to think that American and British forces were hiding Hitler as part of a massive cover-up.
Knowing something the others don't know is always advantageous. Keeping a secret can always be useful.
As of 2018, we have conclusive evidence regarding the fate of Hitler's charred remains. The Russian Federal Security Service, or FSB, gave a French research team access to the teeth and bones held in the Russian State Archive. The results of the investigation are conclusive. As study lead Philippe Charlier told AFP, "The teeth are authentic. There is no possible doubt. Our study proves that Hitler died in 1945. We can stop all the conspiracy theories about Hitler. He did not flee to Argentina in a submarine. He is not in a hidden base in Antarctica or on the dark side of the moon." Charlier and his team discovered tartar stains on the teeth and no evidence of meat fibers. There were false teeth mixed in with the real teeth, which had blue stains on them that could have come from an interaction between cyanide and the metal in the dentures. Not only was Hitler a vegetarian, but he had terrible dental hygiene, bad breath in his later years, and few of his original teeth remaining. All of this information syncs up with the findings described in the study. Even more to the point, the teeth, jawbone, and dentures match an X-ray of Hitler's from 1944. Investigations into Hitler's Russian-held remains hit a bump in the road in 2009. Back then, Connecticut-based archaeologist and bone specialist Nick Bellantoni came forward saying that he not only examined the skull fragments in the Russian State Archive, but discovered that they belonged to a woman under the age of 40. According to Slate, however, Russian authorities say they never gave Bellantoni access to Hitler's remains. Further conclusive evidence regarding Hitler's death comes from the former Führer's skull. The skull kept in storage in the Russian State Archive presents a morphology or shape that matches radiographic images of Hitler's skull taken before his death, much like the X-rays of his teeth. The skull itself had a hole on the left side, likely caused by an entering or exiting bullet, but because there were no remnants of chemicals like gunpowder on the teeth, it's likely that Hitler shot himself through the neck or forehead. The French team wasn't allowed to take any samples with them, so this information is all we're likely to get for a while. That being said, it's more than enough.